Hello lovely people, I am doing a video today. It feels like haven't done a video in ages. But I got this in the mail today. This was a from Vintage, what is it? The Doll's House. Yeah, Vintage, Doll's House Vintage, from Debbie in the UK. And I mean, I was going to save it for Christmas, but you know, when you get it and you're like, oh, it's so exciting. So I thought I'll share that with you, a little pack that I got from Debbie, which cost a fortune. By the time you get through the exchange rates and the tax and everything they pay you, yeah, it definitely is a Christmas present. So, and I'll also show you some of the bits and pieces I'm doing behind the scenes. I'm still working on my Jessie Chorley page, which I'll probably ABC thing, which will probably be Saturday's video. Yeah, so I thought I got this in the mail today. It was wrapped in a beautiful, pretty lace. She always smells so good. Like, don't know what detergent and stuff she uses or softener, but it smells so beautiful. Got this gorgeous, all sort of like pinky pack. So pretty. I'm such a pink girl. One big pink yo-yo. It's just beautiful. A vintage doily. So pretty. And then she also added, just the way she presents her stuff is so lovely. Really pretty mother of pearl. I'll pinch that one. I've got an idea already of what I want to use all this for. Yeah, they're really pretty. Oh, it just smells so good. And they're good size fabrics, which is what I like, because I've bought packs from her before. You get more fabrics, but they're not as bigger pieces, whereas this is nice and big pieces. So they're just so pretty. It's a real sort of pretty pink Susanna pack, I think. I just really love soft and pretty. This one's that. So yeah, this is a good size piece as well. Quite a big piece, that one. Bit of fluff. So pretty. It's got that, oh, it just smells so good. Sort of that vintagey aged look. So pretty. Isn't this one gorgeous? Love that. Yeah, they're good sizes. I like that. So I'm going to have to think of something special to make with this, I think. This is quite a good size piece too. Quite a big piece. And it looks really old. Like, I thought it was like like an old vintage, which it still is. But then when I looked on here, it's got to Jenny Love Mummy, and it looks like 1997. So it's vintage, but it's not, you know, old. But maybe she's used vintage fabrics, because they look really quite, it doesn't look like it's only, you know, 25 years old. It looks sort of older than that. But the colours and everything in this are just really pretty. But I thought, oh, thank you, Deborah, for including that. I think that's really cute. So that might be something I might put in the project as well. I'll sort of unpick that, put that in the project. This is really pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Really pretty soft colours. Isn't that funny? You know, I make packs and Deborah probably does exactly the same as what I do, but you know, her stuff's from England. So and I know, oh, it just smells so good. But she gets, you know, they just have different stuff to what you have, so it's worth, the pack's worth it just for this. This is stunning. It's so pretty. Oh, the lace, so beautiful. And the embroidery on this, I mean, look at that. Satin stitch. I think it's raised, or they must have put something underneath. So beautiful, and the stitching is perfect. I mean, that's stunning. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's gorgeous. Love that piece. I'd say by the looks of it, it was a runner or something like that. And this is really, it's a bit thinner than the others, but it's really soft. It's really pretty. Nice big piece of it too. It feels beautiful. Really soft. And then this last piece is an old quilt by the looks of it. It's sort of got, it's sort of like cream and then brown like leaves, but look at that quilting. And see, this is the edge, and it's about that size, and I thought, oh, that is really nice. It'd be nice to like stitch the edges and then get the doily, put the doily around that, probably even use that on there, you know, maybe even have this as a closure. I thought I liked that button in particular, and then incorporate this beautiful fabric and maybe make a pretty journal. I just think it's beautiful. So, you know, I thought, oh, I'll have to make it into something special. So there you go. I'll just quickly show you the pretties again. We got that one, that beautiful, I think that was underneath there, that one, this one, I love these two, that's gorgeous. This, they're all pretty. Oh, so pretty, and they're all good sizes, and so I thought, oh, I like that. And that would be really nice, and then incorporate some of the other buttons. Shove them on there for now. So there you go, that's my beautiful pack that I got from the Doll's House. Is it Etsy? It's a Lulworth Blue, and in Instagram it's Doll's House Vintage. But yeah, so gorgeous, really pretty. Maybe I can, you know, fold it up again and put it under the tree, but you know, I've already seen it. So yeah, it's just beautiful. It was a real treat for me. I thought, oh, what the heck, I'm going to get myself something something really pretty. And then because I always look at her story all the time and always liking what she's got on there, but then when I saw this really pretty pink one, I thought, oh, I've got to get it. Okay, well, that's enough of that. I'm working on a project at the moment, which I got from the idea from and was inspired. What is it? Emma? Is it Emma Jones? Oh, the name will come to me. She's a YouTuber. She's this sweetest young mum. She's from the UK, and she does a lot of English paper piecing stuff, like sewing techniques, and she's got a little boy, and yeah, she's just really sweet. And she did this, some of you are probably subscribed to her anyway, a Quilt As You Go project. And I've got so many gorgeous fabrics that I've gotten from this is from my local quilt shop. I bought this when I did the Woodland Journal, and this gorgeous fabric I got from Forage from Lisa Maddock. So yeah, so I'm doing a Quilt As You Go, where I'll just show you the blocks that I've done so far. So I'll show you how the technique that you use to make them, but I can link Emma's video below, and she shows you step by step on how you do it. I mean, I always do it differently to how everyone else does it. You make things your own. So yeah, just did this little, where's this little heart template that I cut out. I thought I wanted it to, I stitched it down here, but I needed something that's going to hold the middle part down. So there's my squirrel, and then mushrooms, and it's quilt as you go because the wadding is in between, and then you know, you connect all the pieces. And I've got ones with designs in them, but I've also got plain ones. So I'm just making them, and then I'm going to, you know, put it all together to see how it's going to be placed. Whereas Emma, you know, sewed it together straight away. I love this, even though it's a fox. It just, this is the look my cat gives when I give her a tickle under the chin. Cute little bunny. Oh, isn't this one gorgeous? So cute. Badger. Fox. I love that. I love the, I think it's ironically foxglove. And then there's these ones from, this is actually a men's shirt, which is, I like using vintagey fabrics, and this is a vintage fabric I got from a vintage market, I think. Had quite a bit of that. Used a bit of that in the woodland quilt. That's how I knew it would work. So got a fairly big piece of that, and they had all different you know, pictures. Like, so I picked out the 4 different ones, and it lent itself to do a fly stitch all the way around to hold that down, and that's why I needed something for those. So there's this one. So cute. I mean, these ones don't seem like they go together, but when I show you, this is the one I'm currently working on. And then I've got, so I'll show you how I put it together. So you got, this is another piece from Lisa Maddock. I've got a few of those, and just the colour is perfect. Here's another piece. So once again, I cut out the individual the girls that were on there. Yeah, I just saw this men's shirt in a thrift shop, and it's so soft. So that's those ones. They're the next ones I work on. And then you cut out your little bits as well. Actually, while I'm here, this bit's sticking out. There goes my camera. Let me, it's November, the end of November, and I've still got the heater on. Can you believe it? Everyone thought Australia was hot, but no. So I'll show you the bits and pieces what I'm doing. This is all that I haven't cut out all of these yet, but I've cut out all of these. So this one I've used a vintage gingham, and this one only had 2 different styles. So this is sort of like another stitching with Suze, and these are Lisa Maddox again. So got those, and then this is Lisa Maddox too. It's really, I love this fabric, and Emma used this fabric too in her lot. It's just so beautiful. I think they're from Germany, I'm not sure, but they're just so sweet. Love it. And how perfect does that go with the gingham? So yes, even got the mark, and so I've that'll be on the back. So the back will even be really nice as well. So for the plain pieces, they're all the pieces, you know, that have got something on them. And then for the plainer pieces, this is beautiful an eider-down quilt. This is the bits that I had in the packs, and this was really faded, like it wasn't as bright as some of the others, so I'm like, I'll use that for myself. So for some of the plain ones I'm just going to quilt around that. I've just put that on with a gel pen, and then I'll quilt around. So they'll go in between these guys. So I mean, I'm going to have to do some half ones as well. This is some Liberty. So they're all my flowers, and then these ones are my butterflies, and I just got a stamp. That one I had to trace over again. You may not be able to see it as strong on that one, so what I'll do is I'll just stitch, probably see it better on there, I'll stitch around there like a running stitch, or even a, you know, a backing stitch along the butterfly, and not colouring in any colour, but just more like stitchery. I did use the stamp, so this is a beautiful Liberty fabric, just so soft. So here are all the butterflies, so it's going to have butterflies and flowers. That's sort of like, this was a pack of fabrics of squares, and it happened to be just the right size to fit in. I had to sort of tweak it a little bit, you know, turn it around to be the right size, and that was sort of like a, you know, going from lighter to darker in the fabrics. And then I needed an extra piece, and this is quite bright, but it still works. Like sometimes, you know, you got to have the odd piece. So there you go, there's all my plain pieces, and even then they've still got something in them. So I'll show you what you do. Like, this is, I'm at the stage where I'm going to be stitching, but what you do is you get your piece of fabric, which I've cut out, and then I fold it. You fold it in half, and fold it in half again to find the centre. Pin, 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 where is the centre? There we go. That's where it is. Then there's always a fluffier side. I think that's the fluffier side. So get that, and then that. So you do that with the wadding. Okay. And you line up the wadding so you make sure that it fits in, and you've got a fairly even amount of fabric. Now this is where her and I differ. I use my glue stick to glue it down, and then I go to the iron and iron it flat, because it annoys me when I have too many pins in the way when I'm sewing. Okay, put that down over the top. It's such a wonderful technique, it's so good. So I'll just go across, can't see that, and fold it down. So what I did, I've got the template that I've got from another quilt that I actually bought. Hang 10, I'll be back. Back again. Yeah, Sweet Sunday quilt, and I think she used something similar size. And so what you do is you get, you know, your first piece, and then I just got a bit of fairly thick cardboard and traced around it 1 inch, just to give me that extra around. So your feature fabric is in that size, your wadding is in that size, and then the bit that goes around the outside is in that bigger piece. So put that over there. So I mean, I'll give you the link to the Emma's video below. I mean, not that I'd say a lot of you probably would be subscribed to her. If you're not, she's worth it, like English paper piecing, and she's just such a softly spoken, sweet lady. Okay, so I'm just showing you a different way of doing it. There's no right or wrong. Everyone has their own way and style of doing stuff. This is, if there's an easy way, I will do it. Why make work hard for yourself, eh? So I love this this pen. I think it's awesome. Don't know where I first saw it from. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Actually, I think it might have been Emma's channel where I first saw her use this. So she does use this this pen, the Soline pen. Okay, so now works particularly well with this fabric because it's a men's shirt. So now you go over again, and then that it goes onto here. I'm not sure what size she used and how big she did it, but this is what I'm doing. Okay. This is where these come in handy. Okay. I've got more somewhere, but do you think I can find them? No. Okay, so get in there, guys. And then once it's been, you know, sort of glued down a little bit, make sure that it fits down just to here. I go to the iron and iron it down. And if you stitch it straight away after you do this process, you don't have to worry about pinning it after it's been ironed. Where are we? Okay, so I'll go to the iron and iron like I usually turn it over that way, ironed on the back, and that will hold that down. I'll be back. Okay, so I've ironed them, and then I'll just, while I'm waiting, actually have that there. And I've got the perfect colour to sew it down, you don't even see it, which is great. So if you can get a matching thread that matches. I've got another one somewhere and I just can't find them. I've got 5. So I'm just going to pin that in there just to hold that down. So that one's ready, and then there's this one. So I'm going to get, for this I'm using, you just, when you're sewing English paper piecing and everything, I use the polyester Gutermann thread. So because it's thicker and you do a lot of pulling and tugging, so you do need to have a good strong thread that's thin, and polyester seems to do the trick, and that's what Emma uses as well. So I'm just, this is what I'm doing in the background. I did a bit of this in my craft group, which was our last one this last Saturday. It was really nice. It's always nice, lots of food. And we did a Kris Kringle. I bought some of my mushrooms, so a lady got a couple of my little mushrooms. Now start about there, and then we tuck that in yeah, see, I don't need these anymore, and that's why I prefer not to have, because I ironed this last night, and I still prefer not to have pins and stuff in there. Okay. Normally this doesn't stick out as much. Need to pull it tighter. So we just do a little slip stitch, and because there's wadding underneath, it doesn't come through. So the only part that probably see it a little bit easier on this one. The only part that I stitch around there with some nice thread, and that holds that middle part down, and I do these little stitches where you pull it through so you don't have these little knots at the back, and I even that doesn't get stitched down. So okay, so this is the, I've got usually 8 in, you know, I've got 8 with this colour background, 8 with that colour background, and 8 in the gingham. So we go over and just catch. Now this is what I do, doesn't necessarily mean what has to be done. I think Emma does it a little bit different, so we've all got our own way of doing stuff. So go through. Now that little heart in the middle there, I just drew it on with a friction pen so that when I do the embroidery after I'm finished, I just iron it and that black line disappears. Yep. Okay, touch. This is why it needs to be a thin thread so you don't see it, and a matching colour, or you know, you probably won't see it where you guys are. Just a slip stitch. Okay, and then you go all the way around. I can pause that. You probably don't see me, but I'll thought, and I'll be back and when I finish that. Okay, well that's done. Stitched all the way around it. So what I do is I get a, you know, a nice matching thread that's sort of going to make it look like I've got, this is the colour I've picked out for those ones, look really pretty. And then I've just got grey that I'm using on the inside because it sort of blends in. It'll blend in with the back of that as well. So what I do is I tie the knot at the end of it, because this is a pearl 8 thread, and even though you do see, pull it and you pull that tight, you are going to see the stitching with this one. So what I do, I usually put on my thimble because this is the only one that goes through all 3 layers. So first one, and it comes undone. This has sort of got green and pinks and all that, and I picked that because it matches really well with the back of this, and you get like a variegated thread. So we're just going to do a running stitch that goes all the way through on that one. Okay. It's got to go through 3 layers, so it sometimes takes a bit to pull it through, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I've got some, you know, big and small stitches, so all depends how many I make. I'm just going to make a heap of hexagons, and then I'm going to have to make some half hexagons to finish it off, depending how I go. I know it's just going to be something that I pick up. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but it's just a really good thing to take with you when you go to a craft group or something, because you don't have to take your sewing machine, because you've got everything set up at home. And I only take a sewing machine to a class when I have to, like that previous class I went to when I did those irises, the fabrication one. We were learning how to do using the darning foot, which is something I've always wanted to do, so you don't mind doing that. But when you go to a craft group with your stitchy friends, I prefer to bring something that I can just hand do, unless I'm, you know, particularly doing something like I'm at that stage where I'm having to quilt a quilt. Okay, well, so I'll go all the way around, and then like I showed you with how I pulled that through, I'll show you how I finish it off so you don't see it as well. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back again onto the last stitch. So I go down and come through, and then you go and you leave, you have a knot. Alright, so you got your knot, then you go back through the same hole, because there's wadding in between, and then you pull that, you can hear that click, and so you haven't got any knots on the back of your work. So, and then the last piece I'm going to do is to this one, and hopefully that will be enough. If not, I've got this piece. So is this one, so I've already pre-drawn that, and we do that same thing. I'll cut off this big tail. I find it's easier when you pull apart. There we go. So, and this, I'm just grabbing the wadding underneath, doing fairly small stitches so you don't see it coming through there. When I first did one of these, I think, yeah, I did it, and it just sort of really grabbed it, and so only one of them has got that on there. I thought, nah, I've got to do it in between it. It's a lot easier. Still holds it down because it's grabbing onto the wadding. Oh. And I can probably do all this on camera because it doesn't take very long. And then I'll iron it, and that black will disappear, and we're just left with the finished work. And that's what I do on all of my little blocks. If you watch the video, I think it's Emma's sewing basket or something like that, she shows you putting it together, and she uses a ladder stitch, which is brilliant when you put all the, like, the, you know, join the pieces together. So, but that's something I'm going to do a little bit later on. I thought I'll do the individual pieces and then I'll figure out how they're going to go together. Oh, I'm thinking if I'm brave enough, this might be a nice one to put on the bed or on the end of the bed. Yeah, I like the idea of a quilt as you go because it's great. Because I find sewing, doing the quilting, oh, so close. I am going to, I'm determined to use this last bit. We're just too close not to. Okay. But it starts to fray on me. Okay. And I go down. Not much left, but enough for me to have a knot. And to go through. And there you have it. If I can thread the needle, it's always the way. You're nearly finished, and you know everyone's watching, and you can't do it. Oh, seriously. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. So I'll just pause it and put it through, and then I'll iron it, and I'll be back. Okay, see, I ironed it. You can sort of see the stitching which is holding it down, but at the same token it blends in, and I really like it. Okay guys, well thank you very much. This is sort of like a thing that I'm doing behind the scenes just for myself, even though the other projects I do are for myself, like the Jessie Chorley, all the beach things for my brother, but often I'll get stuff because it's really good content and to teach you. The stitching with Suze is just stuff that I'm doing for myself, and this is sort of, you know, I know this is probably going to be a bit of a long-term project, but yeah, I think it's really cute. I love it. So I'll catch you in the next video. Probably on Saturday I'm going to continue working on the Jessie Chorley quilt. I've done most of the letters, and I'll show you how I do the swan that's on the bottom. So okay guys, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.